What's good, Bills Mafia? This is Striking with Stevie. Let's get it.
Hey, Bills Mafia, San Diego. We're going to have some great times, some great topics, great discussions.
And now they go see you have Striking with Stevie. You getting the insights, the exclusive. This is what it's about. They got to know this info.
All right, another day, another dollar. This is Striking with Stevie. I am Stevie Johnson, and this is my co-host, Jonte Berry. And we have Jalen Booth here from the San Diego Strike Force. Let's get to know Jalen. Let's get to striking.
Share, subscribe, and pancake that like button.
Jalen, let's get straight to it. So the mindset, that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want the world to hear about. What's the mindset that you have going into not only arena, but just to the football game in general, knowing that you may not get any celebrations, they may not call your name out, but what's the mindset that you have to still dominate the person across from you?
It's just every day we got to come out and work hard, man. Just make sure that, you dominate every play in practice. You try to win every rep in practice. You know that's not always how it works out, but make sure you're getting better every day, bro. Make sure you stay locked in and keyed in on what it is that's for each week. But when it comes to the game, that's the easiest part of the week.
I love that. I love the fact that you was talking about practice, because usually people go jump straight to the game.
Right.
But practice is where it all happens at. That's
right.
Where you get your wins, your losses. I don't even want to say losses, your lessons.
Yes, for sure.
And can you talk to us a little bit about your mindset in practice then? That's right.
Look, man, I'm probably one of the more intense guys at practice. I get frustrated when we lose situations. I get frustrated when I lose reps, but it all just, at the end of the day, when we get to a game, bro, just know that you worked hard throughout the week to where when it comes to a game, it's a cakewalk. Not a cakewalk, let me back up because I know somebody going to see this and be like, hey, Boo, say it's a cakewalk. There's a lot of talented guys out there in this league. My boy, I'm going to blank on his name, but he's the nose guard for Quad City now. We got some good D linemen over at NAS. A lot of good guys up at Bay Area. Some guys over in Vegas. My boy signed over to Vegas. There's a lot of good linemen in this league, and if you come in here and you take this league for lightly, bro, they'll chew you up and spit you right out, bro.
Man, that's fact. That's fact.
Being there, with the mind state and going back to kind of what Stevie was talking about, it had to come from somewhere. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and being that you're from San Diego, how that whole mind state came about, and your background history of football?
So me, bro, so this year, I want to say this year or next year will be the years of me playing football that I matched playing baseball. I didn't play football until I got to high school.
Oh, okay.
Out of high school?
Yeah, I didn't. Until I got to high school.
Okay.
I was a baseball player. I played 15 years of baseball.
Wow.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Why'd you stop? Baseball?
Just, when I was a freshman in high school, I was 6'2", 265, and then and then sophomore year, bro, I got to like 6'4.5", and I was like 310.
Oh wow!
And I just
Jeff Bagwell.
I remember I was my freshman year. I was on the mound, and Coach Kier, RIP Coach Kier, he was driving by. He see me pitching during summer camp. Drove by and said, "Hey man, you play football?" And I said, "Nope." Looked at my pitching coach. I said, "Hey man, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
I got some pitches to throw right now." And sure enough, I called my mom, and next thing you know, I'm over here playing ball. Like, it's funny because my uncle Stephen Cooper. We're close to a lot of those type of guys. Jalen Davis, I grew up with him.
Okay.
I've always had football in my family. I just never really tapped into it.
You know what? That's pretty impressive, Jalen, because to hear that you was a baseball player first, and then you switch sports, and then you go pro, you still make it pro. That's a crazy blessing.
Yeah.
So I was just talking to some of the receivers about the mindset. I had the mindset, never got private training, never went to any camps, but I was crazy enough to think I'm going to still be the one to make it. I'm going to be the first. And it sounds like you got that mindset too.
Yeah, it wasn't until like my senior year of high school. I had good grades. I was a good kid.
Good.
Went home. My sophomore year, I started on varsity. I had no idea what I was doing. I was getting whooped every play.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Lessons.
We played Carlsbad. Shout out to Zach Thomas and Cam Thomas. I played with them at state. Bro, we lost 68-0. I walked out the locker room, and I used to live in North Park, and I was about like 10-minute drive away from San Diego High. I'm walking out the locker room, I'm laughing. My mom's in her old GMC Yukon, and she looks at me, she's like, "What's so damn funny?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh man, my homeboy cracked a joke. What you mean?" And she was like, "Oh, you think losing's funny?" Bro, she had me put my shoes on. I remember I had neon green Nike running shoes. Remember when it was in style? The free runs. Bro, she made me run from San Diego High all the way to South Park. All the way home.
Wow.
You think I'm playing? I had to run up B Street.
Shout out
Mama Booth.
Yeah.
Mama Booth don't play.
Yeah, that's love.
She gonna be at the games, bro. She gonna be, and you gonna know who my mama is.
Man, that's love.
The next week I think we played Saints. Gave up like 4 sacks. She took me home. I asked her, "Can we get something to eat?" She got me something to eat, put me on the corner, and for every sack I gave up, I had to make a 2-minute lap around the block. You know?
So that's where it came from then.
That's the mentality.
Yeah, it was my mom's, and then I had my mom's, and my grandma was always on the back end, always like kind of like, it's okay, you know, you'll be all right, you'll be all right, and you know. So my mom, my grandma always, you know, kind of always kept me level-headed.
So my question is this, you know, now with that mind state that you got from high school, how did it transition as far as picking your college, Azulia Pacific, as well as going into the rest of your college career?
Right. So going into senior year, you know, me and my mom, you know, we believe that we could do it. You know, we can make this happen. We can go play college ball. But you know, me, you know, you're a kid. You know, you see all these other guys with offers and you know, notoriety, and I'm just kind of like, man, it ain't gonna happen. But I'm gonna keep working though. Like, you know what I mean? I still want to win games. I still want to play high level football. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna work for my guys that are on the team, regardless on if we go 1-9 or whatever situation is. I'm in my PSAT prep. You know, you got to pay for that.
Right.
And I hear cleats coming down the hallway because I know we got a new head coach. All my boys are at practice. I'm like, man, I'm going to do this SAT stuff. I'm going to go to college. I hear cleats coming down the hallway, and my boy Daryl Givens banged on the door, and the prompt lady was like, he's in the middle of a practice SAT. And my boy said, we're not worried about that. He's like, the head coach wants to meet him. I go down there. My mom's on the field. My mom's kind of like looking around because she's like, I put him in the SAT prep. And my coach James, Charles James, love him. He's still my mentor, love him to this day. He said, hey, man, you're not going to pay for college, bro. He's like, we're going to get you out of here. You got a UC Davis camp. You got an Arizona camp. You got a USC camp.
Look at God.
And he just he put me through the system, bro. And if it wasn't for Coach James, man, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I strongly believe that. You know, clearly a lot of hard work and dedication on my end, but if it wasn't for him believing in me, bro, I wouldn't be where I'm at. A lot of people be like, oh, shouldn't you have gone to Helix or, you know, St. Augustine or things like that? I was like, bro, starting high school, I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about playing baseball. I wasn't worried about playing no football.
That's crazy.
I'm serious, bro. I wasn't worried about that.
That's special. You a special person. And it sounds like you got some special people in your corner.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump on something that you said. You said you have a mentor.
Yeah.
Now, I was literally just talking to Coach Shu, and I said, when I was coming up in the ranks, I was more reserved. I was more alone on my own.
Yeah.
And I didn't reach out for mentors, but it goes so far. If y'all hearing this, man, you heard Jalen say that he jumped from baseball to football. He's bigger than everybody, probably throwing more heat than everybody, but he still had a mentor. You know what I mean? And look at where he is now, still leading to this day. Yeah. And I felt like I didn't take advantage of having a mentor. Yeah. Can you just speak a little bit on mentorship?
So what I'll say is this, bro. I didn't grow up with my dad. You know, just my mom, my grandma. But I had my Uncle Thomas, my best friend Chewy. I had his dad, Uncle Chewy. I had a whole bunch of uncles, and they, you know, when it comes to the Booth family, it's only me, my mom, my grandma. My grandma sadly passed away, but you know, it's just me, my mom. But you know, everybody, all their uncles, Uncle Dorian, Uncle Chewy, my Uncle Thomas. That's my Thomas Marcus, little Thomas.
Yeah.
His dad.
Oh, okay.
I always had them. They always had my back, and you know, Coach James, you know, he always, you know, just believed in what I had going on, man. And you know, it means a lot, bro. It means a lot to have somebody that believes in you, and somebody who can steer you in the right direction. I mean, I'm 26 years old, and I still call Coach James about little stuff. It might not even be related to football. It can just be life stuff.
So I want to kind of touch on football, but not only that, touch on the strike force and our little relationship. So me and Jalen played a couple of years together, and one thing that I can attest for Jalen is that he's a leader. Yeah. He's a leader on and off the field. And being that you're kind of one of the original guys that's left on the team, what is some of the things like, you know, unfortunately, you know, we don't have Coach Kilmer no more, who is our head coach, not our head coach, but our offensive line coach since we started. How is it, you know, transitioning from having a coach like Coach Kilmer to having Coach Shackelford now, as well as the new additions on the team, being that you just came back from the Western Conference Finals?
That's hard, man, because Coach Kilmer and Coach Shack bring their own type of style of coaching. You know, Coach Shack is very much, I feel like from the 3 days that I've had him as a coach, he's very much a let's go through practice and let's do what we got to do and let's fix it on film. And Coach Kilmer was more of a manual, like, hey, let's fix it right now.
Right.
Fix it right now so we ain't got to do it the rest of the time. So I feel like they both go hand in hand. I don't think either coach is better than the other. You know, I think they're both really great coaches, man. And, you know, I'm blessed to have either one. That I'm glad to still, you know, I can still call Coach Kilmer and ask him for help. And I'm glad that we still have we got Coach Shack on the team. Coach Shack's another great addition to the squad. But Coach Kilmer, you know, it was just as great.
So I know, you know, as you started your career, you know, You play mostly guard and tackle. How has that transition been these last couple of years of you going to center now, and making that transition now fully as a full-time center?
Oh man, it was fun. I played tackle in high school. When I got to Azusa, they moved me to guard, which I understood why. Them tackles were like 6'8".
Okay, height.
Huge,
It's a height
bro.
thing.
It's a height thing.
Azusa Pacific, that's where Coach Slater, Jackie Slater, right?
Slater, man, he played 20 years with the Rams. Had Eric Dickerson. His son is not Rashawn Slater. He played for the Patriots, man.
Matthew Slater.
Matthew Slater. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah,
Special teams
guy.
veteran.
Had him. Ended up going to San Diego Mesa for a year. Got my boy Coach Chevy over there. He's a great O-line coach. Then I went to San Diego State and probably one of the best O-line coaches I've ever had, Coach Mike Schmidt. Then my last year of college, I played 1 year at Indiana State. Had Michael Switzer as my O-line coach.
And then you went to the Bandits, correct?
Yeah, I went to Tampa Bay. I went to the USFL after that. And then here back in San Diego.
Nice.
And how does it feel being that San Diego, Stevie was part of that last team in 2016, and now it's kind of a full circle, you being the only professional football team in San Diego. How is that, as a child growing up, looking at the Chargers, having a former Chargers player here, and now it's a full 60 moment where now you're the guy.
Yeah.
I'll probably speak for all the boys on the team, Toa, Rudy, Trayvon Van. There's not a lot of opportunities for us to play college ball out here in San Diego. It's USD and SDSU. And then you got to go somewhere to some far distant land to go play ball. So I'm sure it feels good just to come back in San Diego and just play in front of your people. It's expensive to live in San Diego, bro. And if you ask your family to buy a plane ticket to Trayvon was at Montana.
Yeah.
That's expensive, bro. That's a big ticket.
Yeah.
So, just to be able to play back in the 619 with your family budget, it just means a lot. It just brings a different type of energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're for sure looking forward to watching you this season.
Yeah,
and before we let you go, we got a couple questions. This is about San Diego.
Okay.
What's your best place to go to eat, and who would you bring on this team to go eat with you?
My best place to go eat? Like somebody from out of town, right? And I got to bring them to go get something.
You got to show them what Dago's about. You got to show them the spot.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to take right now, I'm going to take my boy Tyler Castaneda. He's an Austin, Texas dude. And I'm going to take him to Obi so we can go get the view. And we're going to go smack Hodaz.
Oh, okay.
Hodaz,
That's a classic burger. Yeah.
Okay. Hodaz, man.
I like it.
Okay, I got one for you. Okay, you didn't ate. Scenic view. What is the most iconic view if you're going to show somebody San Diego?
So you take them you go across Coronado Bridge, and instead of banging the left, you're going to bang it right, and you're going to go right next to the water. So you know where you can face the bay from Seaport Village?
Yeah.
You go on the opposite side of that. There's a little park and a bench right there. You go start there, you can see all of downtown San Diego.
Yeah, once he started talking about Coronado, my daughter had a softball game on the island, and we stopped over there. I know exactly what he means.
Yeah,
beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go to that spot.
Yeah, you got to go check it out, man.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Last one. Your best experience with a fan. It can be here in San Diego at Pachanga, which what it was, and now we'll be at Front Wave, or it can be on the road. What was your best interaction with a fan during last year's season?
Okay, so when my grandmother passed away, it was hard, and there was a woman in the stands who I swore lived with my grandma, but every time she seen me, she was like, "Let's go, booth, yada yada yada." And every game, her name was Miss Penny. She used to work at the Chili's over in the Mesa.
Shout out Miss Penny's. We're going to Chili's now.
Yep, and she would sit with my mom, sit with my family, and she just kind of became, part of the family. I love that. And then my boy Koa, Polynesian family. He has, I think it's 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and mom and dad, they always come to the game. Always try to get them to football every time. Love that family, man.
Shout out Koa and shout out Miss Penny.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay Booth, we want to thank you for your time.
Man. Appreciate your Jay Booth. Man.
You got to leave your business, having fun.
Hey, check it out. Striking with Stevie.
All right, this is Striking with Stevie. I'm Stevie Johnson. Got my co-host, Jonte Berry, with me. And before we get right to it, Rudy, did you close that house deal? I know you was on the phone. Did you close?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Let's go. We striking. Let's go. Hey, matter of fact, let's get to striking right now.
Amen.
Share, subscribe, and pancake that like button.
All right, let's get to it. So, Rudy.
Yes, sir.
Now, a lot of people have their own nicknames.
Yeah.
A lot of people name themselves. And that's not too official if you name yourself. You gotta have somebody else name it.
Yep.
Now, I was gonna call you the Tornado. I see you on social, you use that tornado, and then I see you on the field, and it's just like you in the tornado. Not you, but the others are in the
That's right,
tornado.
that's
You
right.
know.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a nickname or what?
Nah, I don't have Rudy is my nickname. I don't even want to say my real name, but
Let's hear it. What's the real name? We got it's a drill. We got here.
Let me see, Randolph.
it's close. You close.
Okay.
Rudolph. It's close.
Rudolph.
Yeah,
Rudolph. That's
Oh,
what
okay.
I'm saying. What you
Man,
mean?
I
There's
hate
only
that
two
name.
solid Rudolphs.
That's
The red-nosed reindeer and it's you.
That's
So-
why I like that name. That was killing me. When I was growing up, they was killing me with that name. So,
Man,
yeah,
that's
Rudy is
my
my nickname, but RJ, they call me that, so RJ State. That's where we
Okay.
get that from.
RJ
So,
State.
yes, sir.
Ooh,
Yes,
I
sir.
like that. Yep.
So
Just
that-
going
that's
ahead
the
and being
max.
clever.
Yes,
Being clever
sir.
with it. I like that.
Yep.
So what I wanted to say was about your mindset. You said RJ Estates. Like, you got the mindset of business.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't necessarily have that mindset until later. You know what I mean? When did you adapt that mindset of business? Was it a high school time? Was it maybe a guardian that you got it from? What was it that sparked that mindset?
Man, that's a good question. So for me, it happened when I was about 23.
Okay.
Coming out of college, I played at Winston-Salem State, All-American, but it was D2. You know, when you're a HBCU quarterback, you know, it's only they want to put you at different positions. So the Chargers, they had me do like a mini workout at receiver. I did terrible. And my grandma she called me and she was like, listen, son, you got to think about something other than football, you know? And I still was chasing my dreams, but I'm like, in between those times, I got to get something going for myself that I got a passion for. So she introduced me to a guy named Piero, who was my mentor. And man, this guy, he let me work as an intern at his brokerage. Man, I fell in love with it, man. I fell in love with the hustle, the grind. I fell in love with helping people. And I understood that for my demographic, not everybody is educated on building generational wealth. And the system is set up for that to happen. So I felt like a young man like myself as an athlete, it'll be kind of, influencing my players and everybody else to think bigger than us and think of what we're leaving for our grandkids and our children ahead of us in generations. So that was definitely thanks to my grandma. That's when I woke up.
Shout out grandma.
Yes, sir.
I gotta ask you this question because kind of striking what Steve was talking about business.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very strong business decision as far as not just with the real estate, but I'm saying as far as training camp, going into changing a position that you probably didn't necessarily have practice for.
Yep.
How was that and how did that affect your mental?
God works in mysterious ways. I was already prepared for that going into, I had adversity before this when it came to, just like I said, the story of transitioning from football to business. So anytime it came to the football field and transitioning positions, I was open to it. I was excited about it because really, like, this is my passion. No matter where I'm at on the field, it's my passion. I'm not just centering myself to one position, and I do that in my business. I'm not just a real estate agent. I'm a mortgage lender. I do solar. So it really is. That's why my brand is called Master Everything You Do, because the mindset has to be, you got to master every position of your craft. You can't just master one. So when they were telling me, hey, last year we need you at running back, it was a no-brainer to say, okay, let me master this position. Hey, we need you at receiver. It's a no-brainer to master that position. That was my brand. That's what I live by. So it came naturally.
Yeah, I want to jump on that one.
Yeah.
So when you came in as a rookie, let's talk about that mindset because when I came in as a rookie, just learn the outside. Yeah, that's it. Just learn the outside. I had to necessarily go out of my way to learn every position so I can get on.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you was a rookie, did you have this mindset of I'm gonna play anywhere, I'm ready to play anywhere, or did you have to kind of get molded into that?
I had the mindset because I knew, honestly, I was already trying to be a team player at that point. And you gotta understand, like, I took a couple years off coming in this as a rookie, the IFL. So I was already hungry just to get on the field. And then the year before, I got cut.
Okay.
The year 2021, 2022, they brought me back.
Okay.
I got cut. So I was already hungry. And
Wait, they San Diego Strike Force?
Yes.
They cut you?
They cut me and brought me back.
Wow, okay.
2020.
COVID year.
No. It was when Nate got traded and came back.
Oh, okay.
So that was 2023.
Yeah, 2020.
They cut me in the beginning as DB, and they brought me back. So I was hungry.
Interesting.
And I was just like, wherever y'all need me. And that's the first game where I threw the winning touchdown against Tucson.
Oh, wow.
At quarterback.
Congratulations
that was
on
like
that.
First game. So I was hungry. I was like, wherever y'all need me, I'm going to make it happen. Because I wanted to do it for my city. Remember, it goes all the way back to, I didn't get my chance to play for the Chargers. I got my mini workout. So playing in San Diego for your home team, that was like everybody growing up, that was your dream.
Everything.
That was like everything. The city, you coming back to the city as a hometown hero, that was your dream. So that was like my second chance to make it happen, and I was willing to do whatever.
Wow, that's beautiful to hear, because a lot of people have pride.
Oh yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I even had a feeling when I got traded from Buffalo, I was like, I don't even want to come back here. Why would I come back? But really, that's where the heart is. You know what I mean? You stayed true to it, and that's good that you got your chance to come back.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes,
that's pretty sweet, man. San Diego, y'all got one. Y'all got one that's represents.
That's awesome that you know that you're big on San Diego and you're big on the culture.
Yeah.
Now, as we're talking about that, what do you plan as far as, you know, being that you're involved in the community, is what you do with real estate and everything else, what is ways of you giving back to the young youth of San Diego football kids, similar like what the Chargers is doing? What is ways that you're doing, and things or methods that you come up with?
Good question. So, you know, we partner with you guys on the kids camp. We're always giving out free merch to the kids, always doing free coaching training anytime I can for the kids. You know, that's something I want to do. And also when it comes to building generational wealth, I'm hoping that subconsciously these kids see that I'm not just a football player, I'm doing other things, and they, in their subconscious mind, say, okay, I could do it all in one. I don't have to just be an athlete. I could be an athlete and a businessman at the same time. You know, for me growing up, it was really like, you either an athlete or you fail. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of was like subconsciously in our mindset.
Right.
But I want to change the narrative, especially for all my players out here. I want them to understand, man, we had a player last year, they had selective cleaning, and they would play here. So they would clean houses for me, make their money, and then we'd be playing in the game together.
Okay,
you know, and that's what I want to create in that world. Is you can start your business, you can start a car wash business, whatever, and still play football, still love what you do, and let's make that the new narrative.
Wow, you a great ambassador for San Diego, and not only just San Diego, just for the culture in general. You know, and I'll just start there. I even added to just being a citizen and a person, because I can see what you have and what you've been through translate and transfer to the younger generation. I can see you having seminars, academies, you know what I mean, where you mix it all in, because this stuff is needed. You know, these words are of affirmation is needed, you know, for the youth. And I'm glad that we together. I'm glad that we're able to lock in.
Now, I have another question for you, going into regards with the strike force. You know, they used you a lot last year, but not only that, I feel like you're an X factor, and you'll be now the eyes are on you now. The target's on you. And now that the target's on you, how do you still keep to playing at a high level and don't have a slump and still produce as you do at that level with the strike force going into, you know, with new expectations coming back from the Western Conference Finals?
Man, we how it works is, you know, it's just being a team player, man. We got all the parts we need right now. We got the coaching, we got TG, Shaq, everybody coming back, Nate Davis. So I just want to play a part in the role of what the bigger picture is for our playbook, you know, and naturally you become the playmaker, because that's how genius our coaches are, is they're going to put you in the right role for the right situation. Because sometimes even as an X factor, I may do a play action, I may open up the play, and for me, that's just as much of a big play as me breaking a 100-yard touchdown or 50-yard touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm just trying to fit myself in the system the best way I can to become a threat, so that it opens it up for my team. And then that's when everybody gets the ball.
So with that being said, you know, with you being really the only veteran receiver coming back, how are you helping these young receivers learn and help with the learning curve of coming from the outdoor game to the indoor game?
Man, you know, I'm working with Coach Chuck, and we're just showing them how, you know, sometimes outdoor, like even like an inside post, you want to flatten it a little bit. It's more kind of like, I don't want to say this to, you know, water it down, but it's like flag football or backyard football. Like sometimes you just got to play on the fly and flatten the post to open up the bigger post. You know, sometimes we're thinking more literal and saying if it's an 88 2 post, you're going straight upfield and the other one's going high. But flatten that first post, go up, flatten the dig routes, roll it into it. And also, you know, the hitch route is 3 yards instead of 5 yards, and understanding the wall and boundaries. So they're getting used to it, but we're staying after practice with Coach Chuck. We make sure we get the timing down, the spacing down. But we do got a lot of vets on our receiver side as well. We got a few vets coming in as well that play CIF indoor, and they're helping out as well.
Before we get out of here,
yes, sir,
you got to let the world know where they can find you, where they can contact and get in touch with you, because you got a lot of knowledge for them.
Oh, yeah. Follow me on IG, Rudy Johnson 7. My website is www.rjestate.com. And also Broker Rudy, BROKERRUDY on IG as well. Thank you guys.
Share, subscribe, and pancake that like button.
See you next time, brother. Love.